Awesome. So let's dive into it and let's do a little reminder this morning. So first of all, I want you to take a deep breath and just like give yourself some credit here. Michael, no worries. Michael says I missed the most of the last month. You know what? That's why we have so much time together because it is a normal part of all of this. It is a normal part to have an ebb and flow, to get into it, to fall out of it, to remember how good it is being into it. And so, wherever you are, however much you have done, however much you haven't done, this is my invitation to you to really let yourself off the hook. Just completely let yourself off the hook because there's this thing, and it happens. Look at this happens to me too, where in the middle of doing something more than I ever have done it before, I can still feel like I'm not doing it at all. Because the more you're in the groove and in the community where like maybe there's this like expectation that everybody's operating perfectly all the time, or we're doing the morning routine perfectly all the time, we feel like we're not doing it. Like the more we know what to do, the more we realize, the more we're catching ourselves, the more we're realizing, um, holy shit, we could be catching ourselves every 45 seconds all day long. Right? We could be, and then we do catch ourselves. And now it's amazing because we're catching ourselves more than ever. We're shifting more than ever. But sometimes we don't give ourselves enough credit for what we are doing. And we're more focused on what we're not doing, even though we've never done it more. Even though we've never done it more. This is how I am actually. This is this is me in my breath work routine. So it was about a year ago. I started learning breath work, and I had like every intention of getting into like this daily breath work routine. And what I have learned is amazing. But in my mind, I have this expectation that perfect breath work execution means some sort of like perfect daily routine. And I'm not doing that. But you want to know what I am doing? I'm catching myself all day long. And I am reminding myself to go back into deep breaths all day long. And all day long, I'm remembering to do a couple techniques that I have learned here or there. So then, likely, there's a lot of you guys out there, and it's very similar. Like maybe you haven't yet had this perfect, morning routine. I think a lot of you guys do. But in the event that it's not the way you think it should be, or for the amount of time you think it should be, but there's a really good chance that, wow, you're doing these micro shifts all day long. And there's even an argument that those micro shifts all day long carry the same power, similar power than that morning routine. The morning routine is badass because our energy will never be higher than, I mean, I shouldn't say never be higher, but it's usually the highest after this intentional morning routine. But if you are only doing the morning routine and you have zero practice of catching yourself throughout the day and micro shifting along, then it's not as powerful as both of them together. So if you're mastering, so there might be some people who are mastering and doing really, really good at their morning routine and then not doing the reminders throughout the day. Take credit that you're doing an amazing morning routine. If there's some people, you don't have a perfectly dialed in morning routine, but God, you've never been catching yourself and micro shifting more and more and more and more throughout the entire rest of the day. I want you to let yourself off the hook and take credit, being like, oh my God, I'm actually doing this stuff all day long. And then for whichever part, this is key here, for whichever part you have some sort of feeling like you're not doing it quite enough, I want you to just be curious about when you will. So for me, I was just exercising. Oh, I'm curious when I will like do a 15-minute guided breath routine. Like, I'm curious when that'll be part of my morning or evening routine. And whenever I actually genuinely pulse out that curiosity, like, oh, I wonder when I'm going to do it, I always get a message back like, pretty soon, pretty soon. So, whatever you think you're not doing right now, or you're not doing enough, I want us to all just kind of like take a deep breath together. And I want you to really find, like, ask yourself, like, or just say to yourself, I'm curious when I will. I'm curious when I will. And as we do this, I want you to notice that energy change that's instant to I mean, maybe you're not doing it, but you can feel that instant energy change to, like, oh, I am going to be doing it. You can feel that it instantly changes to doing energy rather than not doing energy. So it's super subtle in the beginning. So whatever you think you're not doing enough, take a deep breath with me. You can put your hand on your heart if you like that kind of thing. You don't have to. And then go into, I'm curious when I will. I'm curious when I will. I'm curious when I will. And maybe that transforms into, I'm curious how. I'm curious when. I'm curious what needs to be reorganized first. I'm curious how to make space. I'm curious what needs to happen first. And like you can just go and then meditate, not meditate, but just like flex the energy of, I'm curious, and sense that the energy has shifted from, I'm not doing it enough to, oh, I'm brewing up the energy. Can you guys feel that? Am I insane over here by myself over here? Okay, good. You guys can feel okay. I needed some head nods. You're like, you're all like mastered your poker face. You're having like these internal aha moments. And then there's like, oh, so, you can completely let yourself off the hook for the piece of it that you feel like you're not doing enough of, and just intentionally be flexing the I'm curious when I will. And who cares if that takes 4 months? Do you guys remember the story from a couple of years ago for me where I was flexing the curiosity of when I was going to the gym, and it was like 5 months. It was like 5 months of it. Now there were these baby steps in between. I started flexing the curiosity. I was like, for a long time, oh, I'm not doing it. And I started flexing it. I'm curious when I will. And then I was like, I don't even know what gyms there are. So then it was like, oh, I'm curious when I'm going to like Google what gyms are there. Oh, I'm curious when I'm going to call them. I'm curious when I'm going to go visit them. I'm curious when I'm going to go. And then I ended up signing up for one, but then I started going like once a month. I'd go like 1 or 2 times a month for 30 minutes. And then it was really easy to fall into the like, oh my God, I signed up for a gym and I'm not going energy, but I knew the trick. So I was like, oh no, like I'll totally identify as somebody who goes to the gym, even if it's only once a month. So then my story is able to shift into, yeah, I go to the gym. Secretly, it's once a month for 30 minutes. Yeah, I go to the gym because I did. I went to the gym. I do this. And then I'm curious when I'm going to go more. I'm curious when I'm going to go more. I'm curious when I go, okay. Then eventually you're like, okay, well, I probably need to know the schedule, the workout schedule, or I would need a schedule. And for me, I was doing these personal trainer things, but then there was like this like group of old ladies at 9:15. I was like, I feel like I'd like to maybe work out with them. I live in the country, so it's a really funny scene. So we like, I'm like the youngest one by like 20 or 30 years. And, but anyways, I got into the group, eventually I was like, okay, today's the day. I'm going to work out with the ladies. And then I was like, okay, when am I going to go more? When am I going to go more? And then within about 5 months from the start of it, I was going like 3 to 5 times a week and really getting really super strong because the workouts were really good. So if I was putting pressure on myself to start going to the gym in 2 weeks, there would have been a lot of guilt. But when we can release the timelines, it's amazing because then next thing you know, all of a sudden it seems really quick, right? You start going to the gym 5 days a week, and now all of a sudden you feel super in shape, and now you feel like your entire life has changed, and it's only been 6 or 7 months. So sometimes it feels like it's really slow in the beginning, but then you build up the energy, and then next thing you know, it feels like you got results really, really fast. So to release the timeline, it requires like a pretty deep commitment of faith to this stuff. And it was funny, I opened up the Amanda Frances Richest Fuck book. I was introducing it to a friend and we're just going to check it out. And I went to like chapter 4, the what to do when it looks like it's not working. And which is a really cool chapter if you want to zero back into that. And she kind of, I think the chapter starts out with like, listen, manifestation, this stuff, because Amanda Frances, the entire book, it's 100% Abraham Hicks, just through her lens. It's great. But she just calls it out perfectly. Like something like manifestation is not for the faint of heart. Anyone relate to that? Like this life strategy is not for the faint of heart. And it like takes a certain level of faith that when you do energy work, shit changes. And so when you can really lean into, I know when I do energy work, it's just a matter of time. It can alleviate these strict timelines that make zero sense that we pull completely out of our asses. It makes it easier to set those aside. It can set those aside. So that's what I do when I'm like buckling up for a 5-month energy strategy to get myself to the gym. Or I'm just like, if I'm doing the energy work, it's just a matter of time before I'm going to the gym. But then when you go, you're not forcing yourself to go. You don't hate going. You love it. It's easy. So when we do all of the energy work, the execution ends up being easy. I never woke up and be like, oh, it wasn't 5 months later. If you try to force yourself to do it in the beginning, it feels like efforting. Go to the gym, get your shoe, get out, come on, you like lazy, right? And then you're like forcing yourself, and it takes a certain amount of energy, and then it usually doesn't last very long. But when we just really do the energy work and wait until we just feel like doing it, the execution is just like, oh, I want to go to the gym. And it's just this clean space of I'm just going. And it required really not much of anything. So you can be using this philosophy for, I wonder when I'm going to go to the gym. I wonder when I'm going to eat healthier. I wonder when I'm going to talk nicer to somebody, to my spouse, to my kids. I wonder when I'm going to go to yoga. I wonder when I'm going to like really dial into a morning routine. I wonder when I'm going to set alarms to catch myself throughout the day. I wonder when I am going to like start a meditation or breath work practice. I wonder when I'm going to let myself off the hook for not being perfect. I wonder when I'm going to let go of the timelines. I wonder when I'm going to be ready to like really just have this like full fucking faith that like energy work equals results. I wonder when I'm going to breathe and relax into the perfect timeline is in motion. I wonder when I'm going to fully remember that everything is working out for me. Things are in motion. I wonder when I am going to remember to flex watching it happen energy more than waiting for things to happen. I wonder when I'm going to give myself more credit for actually being a complete badass. I wonder when I'm going to give myself credit for being like the top 5%, top 0.5% of the people in the entire world who are out to master their mind and be a conduit of love. I wonder when I'm going to breathe into my full power. I wonder when I'm going to allow myself to really be proud about everything that's happened right now. I wonder when I am going to stop waiting to smile. I wonder when I'm going to realize that my life is perfect. I wonder when I am going to appreciate everything I look at. I wonder when I'm going to walk down the street, I'm particularly looking for things to appreciate. I wonder when I'm going to remember to just try to have love flowing out of my body before I talk to anybody. I wonder when I am going to just think that the leaves are beautiful and the sun is beautiful and the breath is beautiful. I wonder when I'm going to stop feeling behind. And I wonder when I'm actually going to start feeling ahead. Holy shit, what a concept. I wonder when I'm going to actually feel ahead. Because if I really look at it, I'm on a really good trajectory. I'm on a really, really, really good trajectory. I wonder when I can just make life so simple. I wonder when I'm going to be ready to really simplify life. Energy inspired action. Energy inspired action. energy inspired action. Oh, that feels good in my body. That feels good in my body. I wonder when I'm going to allow to just even just say, set a timer and for 5 minutes, just say energy inspired action over and over again. That's all. That would be an amazing jump start. 5 minute timer, energy inspired action, energy inspired action, energy inspired action. 5 minute timer. What could I love today? I could love this. I could love that. I could love that. My windows are dirty because my daughter drew all over them and thought she cleaned them. She didn't. I wonder, I can love the trees and the flowers that I purchased, and I could just love that my house doesn't have to be clean today. I wonder, I could just decide everything's perfect. Maybe I'll just set a timer for 5 minutes, decide everything's perfect. Practice perfection energy, practice perfection energy. Everything's perfect. Perfect. Perfection is I'm breathing. I'm breathing. People I love are breathing. There's nature out there. There's fresh air, there's sunshine. We made it through winter. 5 minute timer, 5 minute timer to just remember everything is working out for me. I could just simplify this and just say that one phrase over and over for 5 minutes. Everything's working out for me. Everything is 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 working out for me. Simplify. I wonder when I'm going to be really ready to just simplify and allow whatever needs to blow up to blow up. Whatever new thing to get going. Whatever, I wonder in this world of simplicity, there's mental space to receive new ideas. Ah, anybody feeling a little lighter? Anybody feeling a little lighter? Yeah. Yeah, me too. Me too. Letting ourselves off the hook for being perfect and realizing this is just an energy first game. And in any given moment, if we're not sure what to do, if we're not sure how to speak to somebody, how to strategize, what to do next, we can simplify this down to what's the best feeling option. Let's say you have to deal with somebody, a landlord, boss, a client, a contractor, an employee. All right, you have to deal with something you don't even know how. You don't know what to say, you don't know what a next good move would be. What would be a default strategy? A default strategy if we just didn't know what to do? Well, what I like to remember is at any given moment, there is either love flowing out of my body or there is not. So if you feel like you need to have a conversation, but it would require you to turn your love valve off, not the right conversation.